Reminder that your first exam is coming up tomorrow, and we will start around 8 o'clock, and you have 1 hour to work on the exam. Those of you who need accommodation for taking the test, I've already sent you, if you have already given me the documentation from the student service office there, your test is already in the test center, so you can go there. Well, we have a lab starting at 9:30. So the test center, I think they don't open until like 8:30ish, or even, I don't know when they open. So those of you who are taking the test in the test center, you can take the test after the lab is finished. Because we finish lab around 12:30ish. So you can go to the lab test center and then after the lab to take the exam. Because, so that's just about the first exam there. And what will be given to you? Well, we will give you a periodic table. We will give you a conversion factor table. Let me just pull that up real quick and to show you where you can find that information. And now this is the document that I have already posted on Canvas for the final exam. So these pages of information will be given to you on the final exam, but for every in-class exam, periodic table will be given to you, and the list of equivalent quantities will be given to you in terms of length, in terms of math, in terms of volume, in terms of English to metric conversion. So these are the things that will be given to you for this particular exam. And then later on, electron group and molecular geometry, that's something that I don't need you to memorize, and that will be given to you for other exams there. So on the final exam there, we will give you whatever we gave you for the in-class exam, we will provide that to you for the final exam as well, in addition to whatever the ACS exam gives you. Basically, they give you some constants, the numbers you don't have to memorize, and they give you a periodic table. So in addition to that, we give you some more information. The reason I pull it up from the final exam is because you will, if you look at this document, you will have a much better idea of what will be given to you for the in-class during the in-class exam there. Now, so for the first exam, it only covers chapter 1 and chapter 2. And deals with the definition, deals with the dimensional analysis there, and the calculation involved is mainly about dimensional analysis that uses a periodic table and the list of equivalent quantities there. So if you want to take a look at it before tomorrow's exam, simply click on Final Exam on Canvas, and there's a document there that says Final Exam Information Package. Just download that document there, and you will see this document. Now, I mentioned that the other day, that I figured I'll just pull up the document there and show you what it is. And if you want to check it out, you can definitely do so before tomorrow's exam. So it's going to be 1 hour, 25 questions, and roughly you have about a little bit over 2 minutes per question. So that's something, and that's something that I always want to stress, and then you need to make sure that you do the questions, answer the questions quickly, so that you can finish all the questions there. And the first exam normally, based on past experience, the first exam normally is there's not a very serious issue about the amount of time allowed versus the number of questions you're being asked. And the second one is the one that's really gets most of the people there, and I still vividly remember last semester, in the spring semester, when the exam was finished and the student came up and crying, she said, I only got to do 11 questions during the hour. I couldn't get to the other 14 questions at all. Well, that's the proficiency that we need you to have, answering 25 questions within an hour time there. And just a reminder, the final exam is going to be even tighter on in terms of the time requirement there, and times allowed for the questions there. On average, we give you about 2.5 or 2.1 minutes per question. On the final exam, you have 2 hours, 120 minutes, and you have 70 questions there. So that's roughly about 1.7 some minutes per question there. And as you can see, we do not set these requirements on our own. The American Chemical Society requires when people finish Chem 101 or general chemistry courses there, they have a set standard. You have to meet certain type of proficiency, and you need to know not only how to answer the question, you also need to be able to answer the questions quickly. Okay, so that's we'll see how it plays out tomorrow morning when we finish the exam there. Okay, so we will continue our discussion of chapter 3, and chapter 3 is not on the first exam, but it will be on the second exam. Okay, we were on the last topic in chapter 3. We're talking about the how do we come up with a sentence in the language of chemistry to express ourselves and to describe quantitatively what's going on in terms of chemical reactions, in terms of chemical changes there. Okay, so this particular topic is overlapping with the first topic, overlapping somewhat with the first topic in the next chapter. So I think we ended up on Tuesday, I think we ended up on the right place there, so that we can cover this topic along with the with chapter 4 without an interruption there. So this topic is identical to the first topic in chapter 4, because in chapter 3 and 4 we started dealing with chemical reactions, quantifying chemical reactions there. So here in this particular learning objective, we need you to be able to, given what we call a balanced chemical reaction equation, we need you to be able to describe what's going on. Okay, and say if we write out a chemical reaction equation, you need to know what that chemical reaction equation is telling you. So that's one of the objectives. And then if we give you a chemical reaction equation that is not balanced, and we will talk about what we mean by balancing the equation. If the equation is not balanced, we need you to be able to balance the equation by inspection, by looking at the chemical equation on both sides, and you try to add a coefficient in front of a particular chemical so that you end up with what we call a balanced chemical reaction equation, meaning you have the same number of each atoms on both sides of the chemical equation there. Okay, so this is very much equivalent to when you're learning language there. Now that we give you the alphabet, the periodic table, we tell you how to spell words properly, the nomenclature for naming the chemical compounds there. Now we're ready to ask you to write out some sentences there. So this part is what we call the stoichiometry. Now, stoichiometry, its importance there is that the study of mass relationship in chemical reaction is what we call stoichiometry. Now, when you type in this word in a word processor, and you probably see this word underlined with the red line there. So I don't know what happened there, but this is the word that we use, stoichiometry. So the study of mass relationship. And we need to understand, in a chemical reaction, we need to understand how much do we have. When they finish reacting, how much can we get? And also we need to figure out if there is any leftover. And so when two chemicals react with one another, and a certain amount is required in order to complete the reaction. So we may have one